Mountrose, and I'm here with my wonderful partner and co-director of Awakenings Institute, Dr. Phillip Mountrose. We help awakening souls like you to increase your emotional and spiritual intelligence by accessing your full range of resources. For us, this includes communing with archangels and enlightened masters, consulting oracles, tarot, Akashic Records, and more, which is pretty exciting and goes way beyond what we normally experience in our daily lives. And our goal is really to help everyone we come in contact with to enjoy life to the fullest, to evolve and grow in magical and mystical ways, and just to experience this time together in a wonderful way. So again, welcome. Today, our focus is on using the Gateway Oracle cards, which I have right here. This is the guidebook. We're using them for life coaching. We have courses in holistic coaching and healing, in becoming a spiritual guide and things like that. And we also work with individual clients. So we have a lot of experience with all of this. And today we're going to provide an overview on how the Oracle cards can enhance the work of life coaches, as well as anyone who wants to create a more miraculous and fulfilling life. So, as mentioned, we will be using Oracle, so we'll follow an overview with a reading for all of us from the Gateway Oracle cards. And from there, we'll add 2 more cards from one of my favorite card spreads, the same one we used last week if you were with us, to get more insights. As mentioned, this reading will be for the collective, in other words, for everyone here. And Phillip and I will also visit the Akashic Records to understand more about how we can create our best lives. We'll connect with the collective records for humanity. Then, as time allows, we may even do brief tarot readings, or actually Oracle in this case, Oracle readings for audience members. So stay tuned. These readings can be life-changing for those who take time to integrate the messages. And this is a real key, just not letting it be another thing and then you go to the next thing, but actually absorbing it. Anyhow, as always, we want to thank you for joining us. I want to put up the chat here so I can see people who come in. It's really a pleasure to be among like-minded people, and I think that that's part of why we do this too, is to have that opportunity to connect with one another, and for all of us as we raise our vibration and open more to love and kindness and joy and miracles and magic, we become beacons of light for the world, which is, as for Awakenings Institute, that's really our mission too. So please say hi if you're here and tell us where you're from. If you're new, feel free to comment, ask questions, whatever appeals to you in the moment. And then just as we go through this time together, have the intention of breathing in magic and miracles and wondrous things. Just breathing in love, light. It's interesting. The breath is so powerful, and with the breath, we can also just have the intention to be together in the moment and make the most of this time. So with that, Phillip, I'd like to turn to you and ask you to share a bit about your perspective on all of this.
Well, first of all, talking about holistic spiritual coaching and healing, which is what we specialize in over the years, Jane and I at Awakenings Institute, we found that you really need them both. They're often sort of in separate camps. There's healers and there's coaches, and they're both wonderful. But there's a real natural crossover and integration. And what I'm talking about is the coaches are helping people stay focused, supporting, being on track for their goals, and being in a generally good state, and also how to follow through, maybe having some strategies on how to accomplish things, more external things, more masculine, more the yang part of relationships. And the healing part, the healing component, is the place where we get stuck. We have obstacles. Things aren't working out. And Jane mentioned limiting beliefs. I'm not good enough. I don't deserve. Um, and these kind of basic core beliefs that we're really here to work on as a lifetime project in a way. That's one of the reasons what we're here to explore the beauty and the goals and the highs and the ecstasies, but also getting clear on these areas where we need more understanding, more depth.
Right.
And the
Right.
healing part does that, and we do that through a lot of energy healings, and we'll probably talk a little bit, mention the miracle reframe with EFT, which is a good one. And Sharon, welcome aboard. And so you need them both. And if you combine that with oracles, and one of the many decks that we use in our courses now as a supplement, yeah, we don't drink it. It's not that kind of supplement, but is this gateway oracle cards. And it really boosts your intuition and can give you actually the coaching, the strategies, the tips on how to go forward, and the healing. It can also show an area where you want to transform yourself.
Right. Yeah. And I want to welcome Daisy too. She says, hello, blessings, and blessings to you.
Blessings, Daisy. And we are going to have some
Yeah.
some individual picking some cards if we have time here shortly.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're interested, of course.
Yes.
I think another way that we look at oracles is that it's a way to enhance or amplify the appearance of synchronicity in your life, because it's like you get these synchronous messages, and you may be wondering, if you're interested in synchronicity, well, where are all those synchronicities people talk about? You can create your own with oracle cards, because you receive synchronous messages from the divine. You can even ask for messages from someone in particular, a being in particular, an angel or
Right.
a master or goddess or some being of light. So it is really magical in ways that when we first started doing this, actually, we didn't fully understand ourselves how great it is. I think also, if you're in need of a change in thinking, Philip suggested talking about beliefs, and coaches work a lot in helping people to shift their thinking, so that, for instance, if you think, well, maybe other people have miracles in their lives, but not me, that's a belief. So you might be able to do a reading on something like that. You can really, I think, enhance your growth, enhance your experience of daily life, and so many things with the use of oracle cards and tarot. And we use both. In this case, we have chosen these gateway oracle cards as a coaching tool because, as you'll see, it's very easy to get the message. I guess you'd have to say it just comes quickly and wonderfully. And we started thinking, actually, in our coaching program, that we wanted to use oracle cards because we practice techniques and interact with the students, and sometimes it would be time for practice, and we would want someone to practice with, and nobody would raise their hand because they would say, well, I can't think of anything. Well, we'll use an oracle card, and all of a sudden you'll have something valuable to consider. And it really is amazing how on the mark, you might say, how on the mark they can be. You think, well, maybe I won't relate to it. And actually, if you don't, it's fine. Because you really want, above all, to connect with your own truth, which resides in your heart, of course. And whatever happens, it's an added experience that enhances your life.
Yeah, and it's wonderful to talk about it. And it's even more wonderful to experience it. It just opens up gateways, portals, we like that word, where you access higher energies. And then that complements really well with the Akashic Records, which is a higher field of energy, the Akash. And the records are there, so people's databases from past lives and such, and much more is there. So it all works very well together. It may sound a little unusual if this is new to you, but if just kind of stay with us, and I think it'll make a lot of sense as we go along here.
Right, right. And with that, we might as well just go right into
Sure.
doing a reading. So we first want to have a clear intention, and it needs to be something more than, well, what's the message for me today? Although it can be, but if we have a more focused intention, that might help. Did you have anything, Phillip, in terms of beliefs or something just to tighten
I
it
think
up?
I think a good one is I'm not deserving, because there's a lot of times people feel they're not deserving. They may not be deserving of love or abundance, success,
Mm-hmm.
good health.
Okay.
It can
Right.
be anything, but the lack of deservability underlies a lot of challenges, limited
Mm-hmm. Right.
belief.
And when we have limited beliefs, what we want to do is transcend. So how can I transcend this belief, or how can we collectively transcend any belief we might have about not deserving? And so what I'm going to do is switch over. I have another setup with a oh, buddy wants to get my lap. That's not time, sweetie pie. That's
It's
my
a
dog.
We have a second camera to help you look
Well,
at the cards.
I'm going to go there.
Yeah. And I'm seeing
Because
it.
then you can uh see how I set it
You'll
up.
see the
And
cards.
yeah, first I shuffle. There's nothing really too magical about that. And the cards are kind of big, so they can be a little challenging. I think I'll just shuffle a couple times off
Hmm.
camera to what
Right.
I want to do is shuffle while I'm focusing on my intention of we're transcending
Hmm.
really self-doubt, right?
Hmm.
How we can transcend
Right.
our doubts that we deserve everything good, because we all do.
Yeah.
Oh, and I wanted to say also, Babs is here. Hi,
Yeah.
Babs.
Hey,
Good
Babs,
to
good to
see you.
see you. And Daisy is affirming she believes and claiming abundance, and that is a big part of it. And then just where we're not up to par, those hidden areas which are kind of weak links, they can be discovered through the cards and the Akashic records, and then the healing then we would know what to heal, because it could pinpoint something in our
Right.
reality that might be hidden to us otherwise.
Mm-hmm. Right. And it can be, how can we increase our belief in ourselves? So we're looking at that because it's about, if we deserve, then we believe in ourselves. So okay. So what I do is spread the cards out, because I like to do that and go where the energy is. So here we have a card. I want to look at it myself. Oh, this is interesting. Flying free. I unfurl my wings and fly. That's beautiful. Just beautiful, and a beautiful image. This is one of the things I like about these cards too. They have very nice images that go along with the messages. So, Phillip, would you like to read from the guidebook about it?
Yes, there's a short description of the card flying free that I'm going to read to you from the guidebook. Uh, the card's meaning is be daring, cast aside conventions and restrictions, dance, laugh, explore, go beyond your predictable behavior and say yes to life. By doing so, you support others in finding their wings. And the universe wants you to know the final message here for the card. You're not on the planet to live a mundane and ordered life. You're here to grow, expand, and step into your extraordinary self. Of course, there are times to live an ordinary life, but there are also moments to fling your arms to the heavens, choose life on your terms, clear out mental and emotional fog, and move beyond those situations that you have outgrown. Don't unconditionally accept the rules you have been placed under for yourself, or others have placed under you. And the final comment is you can ask yourself, am I truly on the pathway to greater freedom? How can I free myself from limiting beliefs and habits, which is what we've been talking about
Mm-hmm.
synchronously? Is it
Right.
possible? that I need to
Right.
free myself from something or someone. How might this represent my soul's cry for freedom?
Wow. Yeah, that's beautiful. And it is like I like that message of being daring. I mean, who among us would not benefit from being more daring and bold in our pursuit of what's true and right for ourselves? I think that's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
I see Nikki's here. Hi, Nikki.
Yeah.
And Sharon uh, has arrived. Also, she as a reply to that message, she said, "So right on for me. I dyed my hair blue yesterday."
Yeah. That's pretty daring.
Right. That's great. Anyhow, I'm leaving this here for coaching. A lot of times, all we need sometimes, or most of the time, really, is the message on the card to start a conversation. And you could probably see also going into the message in the guidebook, then it brings up more areas to focus on and to contemplate. Like that really makes sense. Being more daring, I could be freer than I am now. I could fly free. So one of my favorite readings, I call it my favorite reading, we've done this before here, is for in addition to complement the central focus. So flying free becomes the central focus. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a card on this side for what we need to release, and on this side for what we need to embrace to be able to fly freer. So I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm spreading the cards out. And this is a big thing also for coaches and healers. And as Phillip mentioned, we do both. Um, Generally, if there's a problem, something needs to be released to be able to open fully. So I'm going to just draw the two cards here and turn them over one at a time. I do that so that I can stay focused. So the first one is what to release.
Mm-hmm.
And and it's you have to look at this as though it's upside down, like this is not not what you're experiencing potentially. And so for the collective, it is release any limits to soaring into joy. And it says, childlike wonder fills my life. And that is just fascinating to me because we spent a couple of weeks, those who were here earlier uh, were with us, and we talked about the magical child. Connecting with that childlike wonder, I think, is really important for all of us at this time. What do you think, Phillip?
Right. And that seems to be a big part of this card. And maybe for all of us to recover the magic child, the wonder child, the beautiful part of childhood, the spontaneity, the playfulness, the wide-eyed wonder, and just have that more as part of our daily life. And it may just be going outside and uh, looking up at the sky. It might be dyeing your hair blue. I'm not recommending it, but if you'd like to do that, kudos for you if it makes you feel freer. So sometimes we just experiment. Life is an experiment, and it's good to remember that.
Right. Yeah. I'm sure you didn't mean that you're not recommending it. I think it's just you're
Yeah,
saying that I'm not telling everybody to
I'm
dye
not
their
telling
hair
you what
blue.
to do. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Right.
Don't do something self-destructive, of course, but there's a lot of things we can explore that we don't normally that just pass us by because we don't have that exploratory, joyous, uh, seeking miracles, finding joy
Right.
mindset.
Right. Yeah. And for the, I would think, and Sharon, if you feel like commenting, uh, the magical child loves things like that. Like the magical child would probably or likely be the part that would say, "Oh, why don't you dye your hair blue? Wouldn't that be fun? Wouldn't that be wonderful?" There she is with all the balloons, floating in the air. Uh, yeah, it also makes me think. I think a lot about awakening that childlike wonder and magic. Um, we keep getting this message. It comes up so often. It just surprises me more than once a week, somehow here and there. And I think back on earlier in life. It's like I'm in my second life now, along with Phillip. I was an architect, and we were actually talking about this the other day. Architects are very serious. You know, it's like if you're not serious, if you're just happy, you must not be too bright. You know?
Right.
Right. Did you want to read that message? Did you read it? On soaring into joy.
Okay, and again, this is what is reversed, or we need to work on.
Right. What we want.
Where we're
more.
lacking in this,
right.
and we're lacking in this childlike wonder, which we've been talking about. Take time for yourself. Find ways to experience joy in every moment, even when doing mundane, boring, or gritty tasks. Look for ways to feel genuine happiness. It reminds me of painter Vincent van Gogh. He wrote, he was a very eloquent writer too, by the way, in his diaries, that he would find beauty and inspiration in the very impoverished huts around him in little dirty corners and stuff. He would just find things that inspired him. So little things can be extraordinary. So going back to the interpretation in the book, if you have trouble finding pleasure in certain situations, start small, and eventually you will soar. To feel joyful is a gift. It rejuvenates you and heals the world. And this is a collective thing. So the more lighthearted we can be, the higher state we're going to be in.
Right. So also, I want to mention before we go too far beyond it, it talks about you will soar, and that's our main focus. It's interesting. It ties right into this other card. By soaring and actually soaring and flying free. I hadn't connected those. Oh, that's great. Go ahead, Phillip. Was there more?
Just the last sentence about asking yourself, what gives me the greatest pleasure? What might be blocking my joy? What's the key to experiencing more bliss in my life? Right.
Yeah. And again, the idea of intelligence, we have one of our primary focuses is on raising your emotional and spiritual intelligence. And it is a lot of times, it is really like having to change core beliefs about what intelligence is. It's like you need to be studious and serious. And Sharon said about the blue hair, she said, I needed something fun. Right. That may be the most intelligent thing she could possibly do.
Right.
But we're programmed to be in this kind of, actually, it's a very low vibration place, serious, concerned about things going wrong, fearful, confused, overwhelmed because of so many things that are occurring in life. Oh, and Nikki says it looks great. I'm assuming she's talking about Sharon's hair. They're friends and they live near each other, so I bet it does. Yeah, I was excited when I heard that. I'd love to see it. What fun. So by releasing, that seriousness and actually allowing ourselves to soar into joy, we can embrace, this is interesting, coming into power. I step into my power boldly and confidently. And that's another thing for me that I keep getting. And I would imagine that the idea of connecting with your true power is equally valid for men and women. Just being able to stand in the truth of who you are and feel empowered. It's not about changing anyone else. It's about just fully embracing yourself. So, Phillip, you want to read the message
reading
on that
interpretation one? Is you've been gathering your inner forces and are coming into your own strength. Assume your power. The universe wants you to know if you've ever given away your authority to someone or something else, which we probably all have at times. Now is your chance to reclaim it. Pulling this card indicates that it's time to stand in your own light. If you're holding on to any beliefs that you won't be liked or will be rejected, if you step into your potential, let them go. The more you shine in your own radiance, the more others can see the glow of their own capability. Your strength can heal others and bring light into the hearts of many. So ask yourself, what has stopped me from expanding my potential in the past, and how can I come into power more fully now? In what ways can I support and help others with my own strength? An affirmation I like to use reminds me one which is, for me, works very well. And it's very simply goes like this. I support others and others support me.
Right. Yeah.
I support others and others support me. I
Right.
like that because I don't want to feel like I have to be supported. I'm completely almost dependent on the others, but I also want to be receiving support. I think we all do. And also know that I give support. I'm not just here receiving support. I'm being active too. And so it feels like a good balance.
Mm-hmm. Right. Right. And interestingly, that is another one of and there are only a handful of things that I keep getting for myself and in the classes and with other people. Um, Community is another one that's very important. I think of Babs. I know I did a reading with her, and one of the cards was called Sangha. It's a like community. It's
Mm-hmm.
another word for it. That
Spiritual community.
for us to be able to grow and to be able to embrace ourselves and feel like it makes sense, because we can feel very alone. Uh, for someone, well, like Sharon with blue hair, she has Nikki to say it looks great, and to enhance her joy and her belief in herself, rather than saying, "You must be kidding. What are I remember someone from childhood. What are the neighbors going to say?" It's like, who cares? Oh, so funny. And people are actually, interestingly, people are opening up more to those kinds of things, and many things that people judged as not acceptable in the past. It's funny. Oh, that's great. So we have our full reading, and the next thing that we do, um, yeah, Babs just responded. She said, "Yes, this is my Sangha, her community," and that is one of the things we're here for. We want to be here as a community of support for people. So, and it's mine too. So thank you. Wow, yeah, wonderful. Um, so Sharon said she emailed a picture. I assume it's to me, maybe to Phillip and me. We'll see. So thanks. So the next thing, Phillip and I are going to go into the Akashic Records and receive any insights that we might have from our collective records, going into the records for the collective of humanity about this. And in the process, what we're going to do is a little guided visualization process, and everybody can be part of it. I think I'm going to go back to my other camera, since you don't need the cards necessarily. And I just thought I have my buddy here. This is another thing for childlike wonder and fun. Dogs are so much fun sometimes when they're good. Of course, it's the same with children. Anyhow, so for the visualization, and what we'll do is we'll all go to a beautiful place on the mountaintop where we can receive that kind of a higher perspective. It's very powerful just doing that, and then Phillip and I will continue into the records. So we'll start by, and you can join us if you wish, and if you're in a safe place to do so, closing our eyes, breathing in, as I mentioned earlier, that magic, that love, the light, the joy, the wonder, that freedom. I think along with soaring comes freedom, the freedom to be ourselves. Breathing all of that into every cell in our bodies, and then releasing anything that isn't supporting that. Makes me think, just in relation to all of this, how different I feel from when we started. I didn't know where we were going. And we can talk about raising our beliefs, but actually to have these cards, I think most would agree this has been life enhancing. So we can express our wonder and our joy, again, releasing and sending any energy that is not your own. Energy you might have picked up from other people, other places, and other times. Send it back where it came from. And what this does is it creates more space for your own light. This is a wonderful thing to do every day just because we're out in society and we pick up we pick up things that we don't want, really. And then breathing in more light, of course. And in a similar way, asking any parts of yourself that are stuck in other times, other places with other people, just ask those to come back to you now. And with all of this, we are, of course, embracing just more of the truth of who we are as wondrous spiritual beings. And then breathing in lighter energy now, we'll imagine rising together to a beautiful mystical mountaintop high up in the almost to the heavens, maybe in the heavens, above all of those mass consciousness thought forms and limiting beliefs that could hold us down. So it must be, with our focus today, a wondrous place where we can fly free and be ourselves and step into our authenticity. That's what we're talking about, stepping into that truth, that power. Just feeling that in your body. And noticing what that brings up just as for yourself, as insights for yourself. And then Phillip and I will continue on up into our records. And we'll connect with the records for the collective of humanity. And specifically for those here. And just ask for insights. And Phillip, whenever you're ready, you could start with anything that comes for you.
Okay. Well, I'm feeling a higher guide who has a big overview from the Akashic Records that humanity goes through periods of intense suffering and then joy, and it's sort of a balance of the two. And the idea is to just remember that there is an open heart there for us all to access, a cosmic heart that we can all tap into that can lighten our load. So even when we're struggling, there's still moments of pleasure and delight, and silliness can come in, just breaking the normal order and routine of things, of just doing something a little differently. So realize that there are many beings who are helping Earth at this difficult time, and Earth goes from one difficult time to the next, it seems. But nonetheless, with when we unload some of the heavy feelings we have, we're in a better place to be resilient and live and enjoy our lives and spread that joy to other people, and realizing that we are very personally empowered. There was the idea that claiming our power card, and you do that just by going within and feeling yourself present, and that you are a part of the universe. And when you sense you're part of everything and everyone, you are empowered, you are joyous, and you have a lot of ability to lift other people up as well.
Right. Yeah. That's beautiful. I sense actually the light of a very powerful spiritual being above too. I'm not sure if it's the same one Phillip was experiencing, and just to realize how vast the real truth is. We compress ourselves because we're told we need to be small. We're told we are small. We're told we're insignificant. And yet when you connect with the divine, when you connect with these kind of cosmic masters, they'll assure you that You are as divine as they are. And I think stepping into your power, that is what you're stepping into, is your wholeness. We have most of the time, only a small amount of the truth of who we are is present. And in these kinds of moments, much more can be present. And we can do this. And this is also about community, because we are supporting each other. And even though maybe this is your first time here, and maybe you don't know any of the other people here, you don't even know where they are, it doesn't matter. We're all here through an intention to be together. And that does make us a community. Whether it's a community for you that you want to return to or not, that's your choice. It also is a community, as Phillip was suggesting, with so many beings of light around us that we can hardly even fathom it, probably. Masters and angels and guides, goddesses and gods. None of this is about any particular spiritual belief. It's about tapping into the truth in your heart and allowing that to free you so you can soar and fly free. So it's wondrous. And I have to say, I'm grateful for all of you to be here, because I think this is an eye-opening experience for me too, because we can be in this energy, and what we're doing is we're integrating more of that ability to be authentically ourselves and to be able to soar just through this experience together, and an intention of embracing it. And of course, I also would recommend writing down the names of these cards and reflecting on it again later. Because when we have these kinds of insights, part of it is for integrating, you could say integrating, actually bringing it fully into your experience of life now. It requires anchoring, and anchoring is returning to it. So it makes more sense. It keeps making more sense. It's like, yes, this is who I am. I am a wondrous spiritual being who can fly free. I don't have to be touched by anything that anyone ever suggested to me about being deserving of good things or deserving of being recognized, whatever it is, of just allowing yourself to feel that magnificence of who you are and be authentically you. Phillip, any other insights before we come back and do a couple
No,
readings?
that feels complete.
Okay. So you can all breathe in more of that beautiful love and light from the universe as we sense ourselves returning to where we started, our seats or wherever you're resting, putting your feet firmly on the floor or the ground if you're in a position where you can do so, or imagining that, grounding yourself to Mother Earth, sending your love to her and receiving that love too. And then breathing in more active energy with the intention of returning to your normal waking state. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Oh, that felt beautiful, I thought.
That was.
Really beautiful. So the next part then is to see if anyone wants to volunteer to receive a reading. We'll have time.
Would it be on the same theme about flying free for the person more individually, or
right? What we'll do, what we're going to do is we'll stay with the flying free card, and then I'll get a new card for you for release and embrace that can maybe enhance that. Nikki says me. Good. Okay, so we'll do one for for Nikki. I'm going to go back to my other camera. And I think I'll just take, well, I'll put these up a little higher so you can still see them. And I'm going to add another one to it. So it's not like we're negating that, but just something more specific for Nikki.
Yeah, and as the individual gets insights, it can apply to all of us in our own unique ways.
Right. So I'm again fanning out the cards. I'm off to the side here where you can see. And so I'm going to just put these out face down so we can bring them out individually. And here's our second card for embracing. And we'll start with to release. And of course, it's to release if it's something magical, something to release to open to it. So the card is igniting courage. I am strong, valiant, and courageous. So what you're releasing is any limits to experiencing yourself as strong, valiant, and courageous.
Mm-hmm.
Phillip, would you like to read about that?
It's
So
about
really,
moving forward fearlessly, and being courageous doesn't mean you're not afraid. It means that in spite of the fear and hesitation, you still take action. It's all right to fall down, just don't stay down. Do not allow yourself to be limited by the beliefs of others or even your own beliefs, and face your fears. Live passionately and boldly. So, I mean, that's a good message for us all, facing our fears.
right. So in other words, to soar into joy, ignite courage. And you can let us know, Nikki, if you have any other comments. I'm going to go now to what to embrace. Planting seeds. Seeds of grace are being planted in the fertile soil of my soul. That's beautiful. Planting seeds. I like that.
Mm-hmm. And that has to do with the fertile soil of your soul is ready to receive the seeds that will come to harvest in the years ahead. Get clear on what you desire for yourself and your future. Every realized dream once started as an idea that took root. For your projects, ideas, and dreams to come to fruition, you need to first become clear on what your heart truly desires. Ask yourself, is this what I really want? Believe that miracles can happen. Use this time to plant seeds for your future. Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. And I like that too in relation to coming into power. Coming into power in itself, being authentic is great. And then you need to have something that you're going to create from that
Mm-hmm.
authenticity, opening to your authentic self. What kinds of seeds can you plant and bring that out into the world? That's really, I like that image too. It's beautiful with the fertile soil.
So that applies to Nikki, but I think we could expand it to all of us, that there are things that are blocking our courage, that we're holding back. And it's okay to feel the fear and do it anyway, as the saying goes, and start to plant seeds. It could be a very small seed. It could be just saying something positive to yourself, smiling. Just smiling changes your whole energy and state. Sitting up straight, little things can be seeds.
Well, it can be anything. Again, it can be big or small. It can be, I want to plant seeds of love in the world and just say hello to people. It can be anything. What is it? If you're expressing your authentic self, what does that mean in the world? Because planting seeds is actually putting it into onto the surface or somehow onto the planet for whatever good it's going to create. So Nikki says, I like that too. Wonderful. So anyone else for a reading? I'm going to take these away. So we're again we're building on, I'm going to put these back in the deck in case maybe the same ones would appear for someone else. Anyone else for a reading? Babs? Daisy? Sharon?
Daisy?
Just have to comment, just say yes in the comment. Comment section.
Well, maybe that's a good completion time for us.
No? Oh, wait. Oh, Nikki just says lots of seeds germinating.
Probably for all of us.
Right. Babs just volunteered. She said, yes, please. So we'll do one for Babs. Okay, so we're going to I'm spreading the cards out again now off to the side here. And so we're going to have a release. And then we're going to have an embrace. So the release card, and this makes sense in itself. Mending bridges. I heal rifts. I am a mender. And I think that's a very interesting thing to look at too. It's like, what kind of bridges between myself and others might I want to mend?
So this is the card says about healing old wounds. Carefully do whatever you feel is necessary to make amends. You are a mender. Help others mend bridges in their lives too. And so there may just be some things hanging around Babs, you or any of us that need mending or need forgiveness or clear relationship too. Probably with another person.
And this is interesting also because you mentioned that it can be for yourself or for others. You have to
help others
hear
mend.
the barking. That's our little quirky one. So in thinking for Babs too, it can be maybe this is part of her work. She's a minister and a healer too. I heal rifts. I am a mender. So it might be personal, or it might be in a larger sense pointing to something that's related to your purpose. So I'm curious if that makes any sense somehow too. It is really beautiful. It's interesting, the two sides of it, from kind of looking, and it's also looking back often with Bab says makes sense to me. With the tarot, they'll say if someone is looking off to the left, they might be looking at the past, and they're off to the right, they're looking at the future, and also they're looking toward the next card. So by mending bridges, there's an opportunity, a greater opportunity to fly free. And again, that could be for you personally or helping clients with that, to mend bridges so they can fly free, because those things, they occupy space in our consciousness that we could use in better ways of being more joy, of coming into our authentic power, rather than holding on to something that needs to be repaired. That's a lot. That is a lot of work for healers and coaches. And so to embrace, and this one actually relates so much into coming into power, igniting courage. I am strong, valiant, and courageous. So it might be courage beyond something a little further than you might imagine. Like what might take you a little further in terms of courageousness than you've considered. If you're allowing yourself to fly free and embrace your power and your authenticity, I think courageousness really does follow. It makes sense to me. So,
yeah, we're with courage again.
Right.
Igniting courage. You know, that's being more fearless again. Yeah, at times we just have to let ourselves go into a place that may seem uncomfortable and do what's necessary in the moment. It's moving forward fearlessly, gathering yourself and your inner forces and taking a risk. is the card's meaning.
Right.
And again, it doesn't mean that you're not afraid, but you do it in a wise way, in an intelligent way.
Mm-hmm.
But you feel like that's the right thing to do.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I think for me, all of these things make sense. And it really shows, again, going back to our original intention today for coaching, specifically coaching yourself or coaching others or both. These messages are very powerful. And I think mind expanding, you could say, in terms of also building spiritual intelligence.
Right.
It's different from what we consider to be intelligent
Mental.
here on the earth plane, which is not about igniting courage or coming into your power. Usually, it's a little bit different from that. So, Bab says, very true. Thank you. And thank you for participating. So, together, we've collected a lot of love and light, I think, over this time. And we can just imagine now sending that out to the world, which is, I think, part of the mission of anyone who is growing and wanting to support a better world. Just, of course, I think if you are vibrating it, it's going out, but just with your intention, sending love to the world, sending love to those who don't have this kind of information, who don't have the support that they need to be able uh, to enjoy their magical child and come into their own power. So it is. I'm just my heart is full, I think. And of course, all of you who have been with us, you are part of this, and we certainly appreciate and love you.
Mm-hmm.
So, Philip, would you
s-
like to tell
Yeah.
people
And
how
why
they
don't you?
can learn more about what we're doing at Awakenings Institute?
Yes, in fact, you might want to go back to your camera,
Yeah,
other
I was
camera
just
there,
doing
Jane.
that. Yeah, here I am.
I'll show it. We have a free webinar this week coming up on the 28th on Tuesday, and it's the lifetime value of spiritual holistic coaching and healing. And we'll talk about the value of both spiritual coaching and holistic healing and how they work together in the 5 main challenges people face and how they can be tremendously helped. And if you're a person who likes to give advice and help people, I think you'll really enjoy this free training. And that, by the way, you go to gettingthrough.org/life-coach/lifetime. Gettingthrough.org, gettingthrough.org/life-coach/lifetime for the get into the free webinar on Tuesday, and there'll be a recording of it. And that has to do with our upcoming June 11th Holistic Spiritual Life Coaching and Healing Program. And that's a wonderful journey to go with us too. And to find out more about this in-depth spiritual coaching healing program we've done for many years, very effective. I know some of the people here today have taken it. Go to tinyurl.com/HOL coach, tinyurl.com/HOL coach to find out more about the upcoming June 11th certification in-depth program.
Wonderful. And I like where it says it's always a perfect time to take your next step.
Yes, it is.
A simple truth. You're going to do it. I guess it is. What is it going to be? Babs says, love you all. Happy Sunday into the week ahead. Thank you, Babs. So just in closing, ways that you can support support this, and of course you can join us again. We certainly appreciate that. You can follow our page on Facebook. It is facebook.com/for awakening souls all together. So it's FOR Awakening Souls. You can share this video with your friends on Facebook, which would be wonderful to spread the word. You can also invite your friends to join you here, and you'll have something to talk about and share from that too.
Mhm.
So the final thing that we like to do as a way, this is a way to start the week, is just to send all of that joy, that magical child joy, and wonder forward, the love, everything into the coming week. And of course, we wish you the most magical, marvelous, wonderful week ever. So thanks for joining us.